Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, gonna do the Canelo versus Plant Showtime pay-per-view preview and predictions. Just gonna give a brief rundown of the whole card that's taking place on Saturday, so you guys can get prepared for that. We'll get to the main event last. We'll start with the undercard kicking off the show. Elvis Rodriguez, one loss. Junior welterweight, 140-pound prospect, returns from his first loss, a majority decision loss to little-known Kenneth Sims Jr. earlier this year. He bounces back, taking on Juan Pablo Romero, unknown fighter. Rodriguez, very good talent from what it would seem. He really got upended in his last fight against Kenneth Sims Jr., and now he's trying to just get himself back in the mix, shake off that loss, get a win. We have 4 fights of heavily favored fighters on one side. The A side are heavy favorites. And I think Elvis Rodriguez will shake off that loss to Kenneth Sims, get a knockout here, and move forward. He's kicking off the show on Saturday, November 6th, Showtime pay-per-view. The second fight of the night sees undefeated former super bantamweight champion at 122 pounds, Rey Vargas of Mexico, as he makes his debut at featherweight, taking on Leonardo Baez, I think the guy's name is, another heavily favored, A-side, big favorite in Rey Vargas right here. Baez hasn't done anything. Vargas hasn't fought in over 2 years, so, he's got to shake off some rust in this fight. He was supposed to fight Gary Russell Jr. They had mandated him, and I think he used his, WBC champion emeritus privilege for that, moving up in weight from 122 to 126, because he had to, I think he was declared the emeritus champion at 122 when he had to pull out of a mandatory against Luis Nery because of injury. Nery went on to fight last year. He went on to fight Aaron Alameda and defeated him for the title, and now Brandon Figueroa is the champ at 122. But earlier this year, Vargas was ordered to fight Gary Russell Jr., and it looked like they were gonna fight him. I haven't heard any word to why Vargas is coming back with a tune-up bout. Maybe it's to set up the showdown with Gary Russell early next year. I have no idea, but Vargas is returning, and if you haven't seen Rey Vargas, he's an entertaining little guy. He really is. That guy comes to fight. He throws a shitload of punches. He won his first title, I want to say, in like 2017 when he beat Gavin McDonald. And then from there, I think he made 6 or 7 title defenses, successful ones, beating Ronnie Rios, the veteran. He beat Azat Havanassian, who's a very good fighter. He beat him, broke his jaw, but beat him. And then his last fight out, I believe, he beat one of the Nues and retained his championship. That was in July of 2019. But now he's trying to bounce back, make his debut at 122. I think he's going to get a win here. It could go the distance. He could win by stoppage, but I think he's going to get a win. Either way, again, he throws a lot of punches. He's entertaining. I hope he's not overlooking Baez, though, but he should win this fight. The co-feature sees former two-time world champion Anthony Durrell. He is a 2-time WBC super middleweight champion, is trying to get his first win in 2.5 years as he takes on Marcos Hernandez. On paper, this is a wash. I mean, Durrell should smash on Hernandez. Even though Durrell's 37 years old, he still should smash on him. Now, Durrell's last fight out, though, wasn't what we expected. He returned from a loss prior to that in September of 2019 when he got stopped against David Benavidez. He returned from that with a draw against Kyrone Davis. Unheralded Kyrone Davis, he fought to a draw with him. So, Durrell needs to be impressive. He's 37, and he's likely making his last run at a world title. And it starts now. And he got lucky enough to be the co-feature. I'm really surprised that the PBC and Showtime picked Anthony Durrell to be a co-feature here, but they did, and he has a chance to really shine and show himself. A win here could possibly move him back in line for a showdown with the winner of Benavidez and a rematch with Benavidez or Tyrone Davis, because they're fighting a week later on November 13th on Showtime. And we don't know if Canelo's going to fight the winner of that eliminator or not in his next bout, but it really, you know, can lead to a rematch with one of those two guys to determine who fights Canelo some point later next year. Because I really don't think Canelo's going to fight, and I don't going to fight the winner of Benavidez and Tyrone Davis next. He could, but I don't think he would fight either one of them in his next bout. He might wait until later next year, and the WBC being so corrupt, I doubt they enforce Canelo to fight the winner of Benavidez and Tyrone Davis next. So we're going to see what happens, but Canelo, Anthony Durrell really has a chance to shine. I think he's going to come in prepared. I think he understands the spotlight that he's in and that he's on his last legs, and I think he's going to go get that win. I think he's going to dominate, box, and stop Marcos Hernandez middle to later rounds and walk out with a knockout. He's another heavy favorite going in. And then in the main event, we got unified super middleweight champion, 4-division world champion, Canelo Alvarez, the pound-for-pound king right now. He will attempt to become the first ever Mexican undisputed champion in any weight class of the 4-belt era when he takes on the undefeated IBF champion, Caleb Plant. That all 4 belts are coming together in this mega fight right here. These two guys are making more money than they've ever made in a single fight before this, so everything's on the line in this one. Canelo's coming in a heavy favorite, but can Caleb Plant, who's taller, seems to be in great shape heading into the fight, he's been talking a lot of shit trying to get in Canelo's head, can he do what he said? He said multiple times that he's going to use the blueprint of Mayweather. He's not Mayweather, but can he use that? Can he fight like Mayweather did against Canelo that night and beat him? We're going to see this Saturday, November 6th on Showtime. Do I think he has a chance of doing that? No, I do not. I believe he might have some success boxing early in the fight, but once Canelo gets on the inside and starts to land his combinations and his power punches and his perfectly timed shots that he has, Canelo's going to get in there, break him down, and I think he's going to get Caleb Plant out of there towards the later rounds. It might go to a decision, but I really think Canelo wins a clean decision if it does. But Caleb Plant, you know, he has a small chance of winning this fight, but I just think Canelo is just too good. Canelo, even though Canelo's pissed and it's personal for him, he does not let that adjust how he fights. You know, Canelo is an entertaining guy. He's a very super confident fighter, but he spends his time figuring you out and trying to break you down. And there's some fighters that have fought him close, you know. I mean, they have. Daniel Jacobs, that was a close fight. Billy Joe Saunders, it was like 4 rounds of 3, 5 rounds of 2 before the knockout happened. Sergey Kovalev, that fight was dead even on the cards before it happened. Now he's dominated other guys. You know, Abney Yildirim got him out of there in 3 rounds. Callum Smith, 12 one-sided rounds, you know. But Canelo, it's not just, he's going in there and he's going to dominate the whole fight. No, Canelo can lose rounds. He can, guys can be competitive with him. It's just once Canelo figures you out, and are you going to finish the fight? That's the thing. And I just don't see Caleb Plant being able to compete with Canelo for 12 rounds and beat him. I just don't see it. But you never know what can happen in boxing. Anything can happen. But I think Canelo's hungry. I think the anger of Caleb Plant talking shit is only fueling Canelo, but not in a negative way. I think it's just driving him more, making him more hungry. And if Plant thinks that's going to get in Canelo's head and piss Canelo off in some kind of way, to where Canelo fights out of his game plan, he's in for a rude awakening. I think Caleb Plant is definitely going to be surprised, as he was on the stage when he threw that, when Canelo pushed him and he threw that punch at Canelo. You saw the hand speed of Canelo. You saw the counter just in that little moment on the stage. You saw the difference in hand speed. and it's going to be significant on November 6th. You're going to see Canelo get in there and do his thing, and I think he wins this fight going away. But you never know. Undisputed super middleweight championship on the line Saturday, November 6th on Showtime pay-per-view. And that's it. That's the preview. That's the prediction. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.